Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is our year to shine and the final guidepost from Brene Brown's The Gifts of Imperfection. We've been going through that this month and thank you for being here. Today's topic is about dance, laughter, and song. That's what we're cultivating in this last guidepost. And with that, you can imagine letting go is of being cool and always in control. Because when you dance, sometimes you're really not in control, right? Unless you have it choreographed, I suppose. And did you guys know that Mark Twain is the one that said this? Because I think we've heard this before, but I'll read the entire thing. Dance like no one is watching. Sing like no one is listening. Love like you've never been hurt. And live like it's heaven on earth. So I've heard parts of that before, but I guess I never really realized that was Mark Twain. So yeah, in order to dance really and let go, you would, if you're going to be afraid of what people think, then you would have to pretend that no one's watching. And singing like no one's listening. So maybe not everybody can carry a tune and they're afraid to sing and they've been told stop singing. So just sing it out, belt it out like nobody's listening. And love like you've never been hurt. Imagine if you would love like you've never been hurt. That would be a whole new level of love. And live like it's heaven on earth. Yeah. So that's really great advice, I think. So Brene tells a story in this chapter about how she was dancing in the I don't know, shoe section with her daughter, and people were kind of looking at her and stuff, and she just thought, you know, if you're gonna dance and you're gonna do something sort of out of the ordinary, you have to let go of being cool. And then you might even have more fun. Sometimes we're so uptight, and we talked so much about letting go of what people care or what people think about us, that sometimes you have to let loose and just be like, I don't care, to have fun. And I mean, there's a lot in this that connects to the fact that I like to sing, and I had an experience 2 years ago that was really hard for me that involved singing, and I have not really sung since. And I was even thinking about the fact that, like, I don't even really think I am singing, even in the car or in the shower. I think I just stopped singing, and that's really sad. And I commented on another video just in this past week about how you can be met with criticism, and it can affect you, and it can make you afraid to do that again. And just like the living like you've never been hurt before, this would be in terms of the song section that Brene talks about. For me, it was having a loss in an area of something that I do love and that I had not been expecting to be sort of hurt in, and it was really difficult for me. But it also just sort of highlighted some other issues for me, and yeah, I won't go too much into that. But anyway, I think, oh, and what I was going to say about the fact that I commented on a video and shared my story. Somebody that I don't know, just another YouTube person, commented back, and I really appreciated it. And he said, I hope that you sing again, because he cited some things about how singing can actually heal your body. And I hadn't really thought about that. I mean, I've heard that before, but I guess I needed those words from a stranger. So let's see what Brene says about singing. Not everyone shares the same passion for music, but the one thing that is universal about song is its ability to move us emotionally. That's true as well. I do feel like I can listen to music and I get chills, and especially Broadway stuff. I can imagine the show if I'm listening to something. If I saw it on stage, I'm sort of like, it's like an audiobook, you know. I'm envisioning the whole thing as I'm listening. Whether it's a hymn at church, the national anthem, a college fight song, a song on the radio, or carefully scored soundtrack to a movie, music reaches out and offers us connection, something we really can't live without. Isn't that true too? I guess I hadn't really thought about the fact when you're singing, and sometimes you're singing with other people. That is true. You're connecting your voices in song. But also if you're even just taking in a song, or you're sharing your talent of singing with others, there is an exchange of emotion and energy and like the sound waves. Yeah. So anyway, I brought myself into that because it's just been in the front of my mind, and how I mean, this book is a good example, because if I think about the fact that maybe my imperfection was highlighted through that experience, I could have moved on from it. I could have tried harder. I could have had resilience. We talked a lot about that. But instead, I chose to stop doing something that I actually really love. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to start, even if it's just like singing on the way to work, I'm going to start singing again. How about dancing? I used to dance when I was little too. I don't really dance a lot now anymore, but it is fun though when you dance. And she says, I measure the spiritual health of our family by how much dancing is happening in the kitchen. That's fun. I have memories of dancing with family members too. It didn't take me long to learn that dance is a tough issue for many people. Yeah, that makes sense. Laughing hysterically can make us feel a little out of control, and singing out loud can make us feel self-conscious. But for many of us, there's no form of self-expression that makes us feel more vulnerable than dancing. I think so, because it's like you might try to do something the same way that someone else did, but your body just might not move the same way. Yeah. For many people, risking that kind of public vulnerability is too difficult, so they dance at home or only in front of people they care about. For others, the vulnerability is so crushing that they don't dance at all. One woman told her, sometimes I'm watching TV and people are dancing, or there's a good song playing. I tap my feet without even noticing it. When I finally catch myself, I feel embarrassed because I have no rhythm. Oh, and she's at home watching... You know, and that's probably something somebody told her too, like, you have no rhythm. And I would think rhythm is pretty intrinsic, isn't it? I don't know. And just like with the singing, she says, there's no question that some people are more musically inclined or coordinated than others, but I'm starting to believe that dance is in our DNA. Think about the early cultures, and they used ritual dancing. Being cool and always in control is not possible when you're going to be dancing. A good belly laugh, singing at the top of your lungs, and dancing like no one is looking are unquestionably good for the soul. Oh, we have a kitty. Hi. There are many shame triggers around the vulnerability of laughing, song, and dance. And even, we didn't really talk much about laughing, but you might think your laugh is embarrassing. Or people have told you something. Hi. People have told you something about your laugh. Want to be on the video? Women spoke about the dangers of being perceived as getting too loud or out of hand. Men were quick to point out the dangers of being perceived as, quote, out of control. What will people think? Everyone is watching. You look ridiculous. Get a hold of yourself. We hustle for our worthiness by slipping on the emotional and behavioral straitjacket of cool and posturing as the tragically hip and terminally better than. Being in control isn't always about the desire to manipulate situations, but often it's about the need to manage perception. And we talked about that. You can't control what people's perceptions are going to be. You could be the best dancer out there and people could still laugh or make fun of you. Yeah, so she's telling us about being uncool and being cool. The Hopi Indians have a saying, quote, "To watch us dance is to hear our hearts speak. I know how much courage it takes to let people hear our hearts speak, but life is way too precious to spend it pretending like we're super cool and totally in control when we could be laughing, singing, and dancing." That's a really good lesson. So in her Dig Deep section, if we believe that laughter, song, and dance are essential to our soul care, how do we make sure that we hold space for them in our lives? And so one thing that they've done in her family is they started turning on the music in the kitchen while they were cleaning up after supper. We dance and we sing, which in turn always leads to a good laugh. That's true. You could combine all of those together. And she talks about making some themed playlists. There was a belly laugh day on my special days. I think it was in February. And so I made a point of watching some funny videos on YouTube. And so it's always good to laugh. And the company of good friends is fun for a laugh too. So I can see why laughter, song, and dance are definitely a part of wholehearted living. And I can understand how you have to let go of being cool and in control. Which, yeah, you have to just let it all hang out. Let me know what you think. We have one more, just a wrap-up video on this book. But there sure was a lot to talk about in it, and I hope you've gained some good insight and thought about maybe making some positive changes. Annabelle's, I don't know what she's doing. She's behind me, I guess, cleaning up. She's never afraid to be out of control or do something silly. But she's always super cool anyway. Thanks again for being here. I'll see you on the next video.